Oh, Station Gang, and welcome to the finale, part 4 of the Doom Omni review with my boy John's Comics with Kids. It's been a long and winding, beautiful road, harrowing road to get here. We've seen all facets of Doom from all sorts of writers, all sorts of tales, all sorts of books, some good, some bad, some better than others, but we are here tonight to close it out with the Doom of the 90s and the early 2000s. John, how are you doing tonight, brother? Good to see you as always. So happy to
Y-
do the show with you.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I'm glad to be
Yeah,
here, and I don't know when it happened. You crested 1,000 subscribers, right? So
yes,
this
sir.
is
Thank you
fairly
so much.
recently, right?
Yes,
Congratulations, man.
appreciate you, man. Appreciate you very much. Yeah,
Heck yeah,
absolutely.
brother.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, how you been, man? Good to see you.
I've been good. I've been reading a ton. I've been in my Doom era here. So who better to hang with than Doctor Doom's fan club?
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Yeah. So, like as I mentioned before, you can catch all three of the previous episodes across both of our channels. John handled 1 and 3, and of course, I'm doing 2 and the 4, the finale here. But go back and check it out, man. We broke down this Omni across 4 sections, and I think we did pretty good with the amount of books, the amount of material we put in each one. But here we are at the finale, 90s Doom. Um, yeah, man, coming into it, we were coming off, I think, really the strongest period, and with 80s Doom. So the I think the standard went from kind of the 70s were rough. 70s are kind of rough time for a boy, rough decade. Um, he's not in any comics at all in 79, but the 80s were a renaissance of sorts across Uncanny X-Men, Iron Man, of course, Secret Wars, and then Fantastic Four with John Byrne. But yeah, man, what are your feelings? And I know, do you have any experience with the Doom of the 90s and the early 2000s coming into this part of the run?
I don't. You mentioned, when before we live, we were talking a little bit about certain writers, certain times. For me, like the FF was always a book that I steered away from. I was never a big Fantastic Four fan. I liked the villains around them. I liked Sue a lot, but I always felt like she was massively underwritten as a character. Whenever I picked up the book, I always felt like she was the fourth one on the side, and then Ben. I loved Ben. I thought Ben was such a well-rounded character and had a lot of depth and interesting qualities. But the focus always seemed to be Reed and Johnny, and I was always like, get these guys out of here. Um, and then of course, yeah, 90s, into the early 2000s was a chunk in time where I really wasn't reading a lot of books. I was going to college and doing other stuff, finding girls and all that. So this was an era that I kind of skipped, which has been the beauty of this omnibus. I feel like it's an opportunity for me to kind of skim through the history of the FF because, again, I missed a ton of this. I've read a lot of the early Stan Lee stuff because I liked Black Panther and I liked Silver Surfer Galactus and some of those kinds of things. But I never really read much of the Byrne era, which was kind of fun, like you mentioned, some of that from last time. Of course, I read Secret Wars and loved it, and that was where I fell in love with the character of Doom, was seeing Jim Shooter sort of craft a story with all these other characters, but Doom was the
Yeah.
focus, the focal point. And when I met him at WonderCon, or no, MegaCon in Orlando, I said, "Oh, that what I love about this is it's such a good Doom story." And he's like, "Yeah, people don't notice. This is a Doom book. Like they think it's this like superhero, supervillain team up thing, but it's a Doctor Doom comic if you really get into it."
Yeah, absolutely. I think so many of Marvel's best, most epic tales are built around Doom power grabs. You know what I mean? I mean, it's so many other, from Secret Wars again from 2015, and back in time with him grabbing that power cosmic, or going at it with Galactus. Beyonder, he's always got his eye on the prize in that sense of
Mm-hmm.
the word. But yeah, let's real quick say what up to the chat, and then let's get into it, man. We got Nick in the building, Station Brother. Good to see you. JP, Doom, the only Marvel character with a bigger ego than Chuck. Tied with Reed, says John. Yes,
Right, it's right there. They're all neck and neck. Maybe
absolutely.
Strange is in there a little bit.
I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Absolutely. So let's get into it, man. We start with the Simonson era of Fantastic Four. One of my favorite eras of Fantastic Four. He kind of takes over. Um, in a weird transitional type of period for the book, and he just has fun with it. We get Arthur Adams on the 3 issues before this, kind of doing the new Fantastic Four with Wolverine and Ghost Rider, and kind of taking
okay, yeah, I forgot about that, because those books,
8, 9, and 50, or
the
7,
John
8,
the
9.
John in this time frame was like Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Ghost Rider, and then this other guy, but like Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, Wolverine. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna read this Fantastic Four, new Fantastic Four. I'm checking this out. I read all 3 of those. I did not go past it. I did not continue on.
But that still is just like one of my favorite mini arcs, in FF history. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
great artwork. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Arthur
and
Adams,
a weird and a hilarious Punisher cameo. Where he like shows up, he's on his logo's on the cover, and he shows up and he's like, "Man, way too many goody 2-shoes in their underwear down there. I'm gonna take off."
Isn't he? Yeah, he's in the plane or the helicopter or something.
Yeah, he just flies in, and then he sees everybody, and he's like, "Nope, they got this.
I'm out. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So definitely recommend that one as well. It's just fun reading. But picking up here with a Doom story, we get kind of early on Simonson addressing some of the Doom history with Kristoff, right? Dude, up to this point, I looked it up. Kristoff has been in the background of 43 Dr. Doom stories. And the way we just kind of swipe away his history in a couple pages in this issue is so hilarious. It's really, it's quite funny. When you're talking about Human Torch, I love the issue that he kind of took with I think it was Steve Englehart's writing, and putting you got, what do you mean you got Human Torch marrying Ben Grimm's girl, and Ben Grimm knows this and he didn't try to kill him. I just thought that was very clever.
I mean, it's fair. It's a fair critique.
Absolutely. What did you think about like this new Doom showing up and the presence of Kristoff and this other Doom, and kind of setting the record straight that he's been like the true Doom in waiting all this time?
Well, I think it's one of the flaws of early Doom books is like how many writers would come in and be like, I'm going to say that was a Doom bot. I'm going to rewrite this whole thing. It was a Doom bot all along. That one in X-Men that you thought was so cool, I'm going to rewrite. It's a Doom bot. And so I think there's a little bit of Walt having some fun with that concept. I do love the design, the silver suit, this panel, or this background to these panels here, and then that one on the last page, the like full splash, really cool like perspective stuff. I do also think he's trying to fix some things, and he's like, Alicia as the thing. No. We're gonna fix this. Ben wears a suit. No. We're gonna fix this. So it feels like a writer coming in going, I want to fix all this crud, and then I'll start telling my tale, which a little bit of what we read here feels like that. It feels like him massaging the universe to put things back where it goes.
For sure. And it's definitely like an homage to some other elements of Doom when he, luring the Fantastic Four to his castle, separating them, having a trap specifically designed for each. We've seen that ad nauseum with Lee and Kirby.
I'm surprised he wasn't poisoning them with something to drink. I'm surprised it wasn't like, here, drink this. Trust
you know what?
Me.
It's roofie
you
time.
You can absolutely trust me to give you a beverage right now. There's no reason to doubt this.
When all else fails, Doom will slip you the Mickey, folks.
He will do. He will do.
But he of course kind of creates a schism within the team by offering Sharon the opportunity to get her normal self back.
I said Alicia. You're right. Sorry, it's Sharon, right?
No, you're good. Yeah, Alicia Masters is, I think, the Thing's girlfriend. Sharon Ventura. I love the Simonson artwork though during the kind of the transformation procedure.
The creatures and the kind of action splash page stuff is great. The faces, some of the human faces kind of feel super 90s to me. Like I look at it and I'm just like, this gives me, and I love Eric Larson, but it gives me Eric Larson 90s Spider-Man vibes, but not in the best way. So some of the Reed stuff, I'm like, some of the Sue stuff falls flat, but the Thing, every time he does the Thing, and every time he does Doom, I'm in. Like that stuff looks so phenomenal.
Yeah, he's got a really interesting take on Doom. But eventually he kind of calls calls the truce on the condition that him and Reed duel it out, right? And I love this
across
issue.
time, which
Yeah,
is
this was
really
super
cool.
cool. This was
That's
super cool.
that's the for me the best part of what Simonson does here is it for those that have read that, maybe you're a DC fan and you read the 60-second war, that Flash comic where it was all an entire DC event with the Flash battling across 60 seconds. Like the whole event happens in 1 minute. It's kind of like that, where you have Reed and Doom wearing devices that allow them to move and manipulate time and space, and they're fighting one another across. So there's like usually a section of the panels that show them battling here. Meanwhile, Johnny, Sue, and Ben are trying to figure out what's going on because they'll pop in and out of time. It's really an interesting story device, and I think that is a very effective reading tool.
Yes, absolutely. It's so well framed and structured, and it's one of those. I love comic books that really take advantage of the actual physical format. Like you have something in your hands that you can move around and alter, and when a comic book,
look at that.
Yeah, when a comic does that successfully, it kills, man.
So if you're looking at this on your phone and it's harder to see, every one of those little circles with a yellow, it looks like a sun, and it's got a little bit of red writing across the top, is basically showing temporal, time elements, moving forward and backwards. And Doom has mastered or has used these tools before. Reed is figuring it out in the moment and trying to keep up with Victor. And I think this is just a cool spread page, but the way it's used all through the issue is really cool.
Absolutely. It goes from excuse me, guys, got way ahead. Yeah, it goes from like black and white panels when they're fighting through time to the color panels when.
So
when
if you want to, I've got some of them open here if you want to see.
Absolutely.
You could just see like on the side in white, you see Doom and Reed kind of battling. And then in color, you see the rest of the team trying to figure out, how do we support him? What do we do to fix this? And so like, it's a fun, like side-by-side comparison. And again, it highlights the way that time is being used in the story. It's kind of cool.
Absolutely. And you're constantly flipping back and forth through your pages, trying to find out, where the story's going, trying to sync it up chronologically. And it's dope to see, both of them trying to counter the other's moves before they happen, type of deal.
Yes.
And it's cool also to see the TVA show up later in the issue,
because Doom says he's figured out a way to do this without the TVA interrupting. Like he's basically making sure that it exists within the framework of the timeline that's supposed to exist.
Yeah, and then they show up for infraction. I just thought that was cool, just given their recent history in Disney Plus and
of course,
the MCU. Yeah, cool to see. But overall, how did you feel about these pair Simonson issues and this Fantastic Four run?
Obviously, the time battle is fantastic and really entertaining. The way that they manage that, it's excellent. I love the look of Doom. I love his goal here. I love the way he's drawn. It works really. That part works really well. Some of the other stuff does feel like you can feel the writer working and not necessarily the story playing out. It does feel like he's like the Three's Company element here really bugs me, which is it's a misunderstanding. Ben can't just tell her, hey, I want to become the Thing again. He's going to sneak behind her back and do it. Meanwhile, she can't just tell him, I'm going to turn back into my normal self. So you have this moment where it's like they both could have just lived a normal life. If they had just spoken to each other.
Right.
The miscommunication as a plot device kind of is like exhausting, because of course it ends with we get Ben back as the Thing, and we lose, was it Susan you said, as the she version of the Thing, right? We lose what we had to gain, instead of just both of them being the Thing or both of them being free of this curse in a way. Like it's just bad communication.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's wild. Like him planning for Thing was the one contingency that he didn't see coming, because Thing is back in his old form and he shows up in the trap the trap is just meant to drop some concrete on him, and that is, that obviously doesn't faze him. But
yeah,
it is a little goofy and obtuse at points. I think it's definitely the anchor we have in 352 with the fight through time is just such a cool exercise, and
absolutely,
definitely brings it all home. I don't know if the story would sing without that much of a link, without that that
absolutely, it's
landing.
the highlight for sure.
But yeah, moving on. So that's all we really get of Doom in the 90s. Fantastic, or I guess the early 90s Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Besides this quick story we get in 358.
Which is really like a synopsis, because I read 358 digitally and they did not include this on the app. Like it wasn't in there.
Really?
So I read it and I'm like, Doom's not even in this issue. What the heck? And then I opened the omnibus. I'm like, oh, it's like a little like addendum to the issue at the end.
Yeah, this was kind of a bizarre inclusion, given some of the things that they chose not to include from this era. I don't really understand how this furthers. I don't know. It's cool to see Art Adams pencils always. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so that was a treat. But yeah, we basically see this guy who's doctoring film to change the official account of Christoph surrendering to the one and true Doom, and this archivist, I guess, stumbles upon this scene and learns the truth about what happens. I asked too many questions. It gets escorted to the Attitude Adjustment Center against his will. But yeah,
we all need an Attitude Adjustment Center somewhere, especially if we got kids.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know. I kept thinking that this character that was doctoring the film was feeding into another story in a bigger way or something like that, but I didn't.
No, it didn't seem to amount to anything.
Yeah, I never put any of those connections together. So this one was okay, but I don't know, a strange little entry into the Book of Doom Omni. This one was dope, and I've read this one before many times. I've always loved this one for the outstanding, gorgeous artwork by Paulo Rivera, who does the covers on the books of Doom.
It feels like what's it? Alex Ross. Like it's so photoreal and just well crafted. The lighting is so strong. The color work is so good. Really cool artwork in this.
Absolutely, and dope little story about from Christopher Priest, who I love. I loved his Deathstroke run. I know he's not for everybody. I get.
No, he does a good job. I mean, it's a very short little story, and I love the lettering, the way they use the different colors for the different people talking in the different times and spaces. Obviously, green for Doom, but it's a really fun, like the look of these pages and panels is really strong.
Yes, absolutely, and I thought it was a cool. Like they sent this woman basically to figure out the emotional side of Doom, and she kind of looked like Valeria. That's why she was chosen.
She's like a reporter or something, or she's pretending to be a reporter.
Right, and she's had facial reconstruction surgery, and Doom, of course, sees through this whole charade from the beginning, and eventually, tells her that he's not going to execute her or anything like that, but he could if he wanted to. The threat of her arrest and or execution is right there, but that he keeps her there, and overnight he calls her. I like how he calls her a psychological assassin. But and he takes off over the shows her the town of or I guess we're in Doomstadt.
It's like Doomstadt,
yeah. Goes full on Kris Kringle with it here, dude. You know what I'm saying? At the flying horses, it's gorgeous. But yeah, what did you think about these sequences here? Before he reveals his mask and she kind of passes out, and
she does like the yeah. I mean, I like seeing Doom outsmart people, and so when you throw a random, I guess you could call her red shirt character in there that's like destined to fail, it's just fun to see Doom 4, 5, 10 steps ahead of anybody. And again, the artwork for me, the artwork is a huge part of this story in this particular one shot.
Absolutely. It's just gorgeous. Every single page, like you said, Alex Ross level, just so many gorgeous visuals, use of lighting, use of shadows, the Doom, like all the Doom. Every time you see Doom's mask, it's dead on.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. Real quick, we got still only 35 cents in the house. Station. Yeah, man. Nice little bit of Doom on a Tuesday.
Yes.
And my brother Bobo, Station Bobby. Good to see y'all. Hope everybody's doing well out there in TV land on this Tuesday. Thank y'all for coming through. Yeah, we're just going through this final bit of the Doom Omni. So thanks for joining us. But yeah, she wakes up in the morning and realizes she's forsaken this last bit of humanity that Doom had. And in that way, she's effectively was a psychological assassin, right? And I love like how Doom's like, Doom will be Doom, girl. You know what I mean? Don't be foolish. And you know, in repayment for what she's taken from the innocence she's kind of taken from Doom, she throws herself off the cliff. As Doom, you know, is there with his morning news and coffee out of the, you know, goblet, coffee out of the goblet. But yeah, man,
he's just casually like, she died. Oh well. Right. So he's so casually looks like he's just reading his newspaper, drinking his coffee, waiting, enjoying a croissant or something, and you know, murdering people.
He knew this was the inevitable end, right? And like I think the last line is, I mean, Doom could have saved her if he wanted to, but here we are.
Not what he's here for.
Yeah. Still, yeah, praying that RDJ Doom does his character justice, and we never see his face, and we just get the mask. Yeah, we'll see, man.
It'll be a big mystery, and I feel like it's either going to be a short one appearance kind of a thing where this version of Doom is an alternate universe Tony and sets up the real Doom that we get later on, or I hope like my preference would be he's just doing voice and motion capture stuff, and that we don't see Doom's face. That would be my preference for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a tall task, but we'll see. Cautiously optimistic, as they say.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
so
man.
Before we went live, I said that for the most part, I struggle with FF because I don't think the characters are well written across, you know, the decades that they've had. I genuinely feel like FF is a title where characters are very two-dimensional and they don't get a lot of room to breathe. And that there's not a lot of writers whose work I really love on the title. This is an exception because every Waid issue I've read, I really dig his take on these characters. Doom is pure evil. Reed has a freaking heart. I like that Reed has heart. I think too many writers make Reed the maker all the time. He's just always this cold-hearted, awful kind of guy. And Sue gets, you know, pushed to the side. Honey gets to be a womanizer, and Ben is the only character worth reading. And so for me, I loved these. I think it's like 4 issues of the Waid run that we get here. I wish the artwork was maybe a little better, but I'm willing to push that aside because the characterizations and the story beats and the moments are so strong.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. The artwork has always been like the chink in the story's armor to me because it's just like, I want to see somebody else really depict this type of armor that he gets in this. But dude, this comic right here is like one of my favorite Doom.
Oh, I'm so glad you feel the same way.
Oh, it's such a marvelous story. You know, with him and his kind of civvies, as it were, kind of stalking this elder Valeria and trying to find her under the guise of his unprofessed, unrequited love. And then when only to get there and, you know, basically like flay her, take the skin off and transfer it as onto this new powerful magical armor that he is he's concocted with this deal with the devil, as it were.
And it's really the like official moment when Doom decides to become a sorcerer, right? When he decides to own I mean, he's dabbled in magic a little bit along this journey that we've been reading, but he's heavily relied on technology. Technology has been his cornerstone. It's been his intellect. It's been all of the things that he brings to the table come from a place of my mind will conquer all. And this is a great like change of direction for him, where I think Mark Waid allows the character to own the legacy he has relating to magic, and then to see him sacrifice things so that he can elevate this level of power. And then what does he do when he gets it? He just goes and rubs it in Reed Richards' freaking face. He's like, I can do this. I've been studying my butt off. Like, deal with it.
Yeah, here's the library, bro. Good luck.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, like, petty Doom
It is.
story. And yet it also advances the character in an interesting way, connects him with Franklin, which I always like. Anything that brings Franklin and Valeria in and includes Doom. Give me all of that. Give me more of that. And the moment when we get Franklin's first word is so freaking good. I just love it.
You mean Valeria's first word?
Oh, it's Valeria.
Yeah.
Valeria just says Doom. It's like her
priceless.
first word is Doom.
So priceless.
And I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's such a strong moment.
It is, man. It does such a great, like, that's not I think that idea. And again, that's another omission on in this Omni that we didn't get. That I think it was like the Carlos Pacheco part of the Fantastic Four run where Doom helps to. Yeah, I got a couple of slides here, I think, at the end of this.
Oh, thank you.
Where we'll look at that. But
yeah, I've never read that, but I know that like they mention it in this run that Doom was there when Valeria was born, and he saved Sue and made sure that Valeria came out safely. But his only trade-off, or his only ask of her, was that they named their baby after his beloved. So the baby is named Valeria, obviously, because of Doom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just so freaking cool.
It is.
He basically named their kid.
Yeah, no, he's kind of on the fence about it. At first, Human Torch comes up and begs him for help, but once he finds Richards is away on other business, it's like, oh, you know what, I got you.
Yeah, what better way to lord it over your enemy than to help his child come into the world, and then you name them?
Like, you cut the cord? Are you kidding me?
Good.
It doesn't.
It's so good.
You don't.
Again, the pettiness.
You can't dehumanize a man worse than that. To me,
it's so good.
Yeah,
it's so
good. It is. It's priceless. That's what I'm saying. And even though that run is not lauded in, the canon of FF, I think it's an extremely awesome moment and should definitely have been included in this one.
And I own several of the issues of Unthinkable, this 5-4 issue whatever storyline, and was it 1 2 3 4 67 68 69 70 and then 71, which is 500. Yeah, it's like 5-issue story. I had already bought these. Are some of the few books in this omnibus that I already own, and I had read beforehand. My favorite being the one with Valeria playing with blocks, and she spells out Doom with the blocks. So it's so good. It's a great cover.
I love when the teddy bear transforms as Doom's face, and she's like, "What?"
Yeah, There's so many great like moments here for Doom, and the way he relates to the family, and of course the kids, and so good. I love all of it.
Yeah, but this is just the brutal. I love the brutal prologue here, where we see like, we really think he's on this quest to get his loved one back, and then he just brutally, takes everything from her. It's harrowing. But like I said, I just I don't know. I would have liked to seen a different artist to pick that, but there you go.
It's the only flaw. Like the covers are as much as the story, the design, all of that is interesting, and all of that is so powerful. And the artwork is very simple and kind of flat. But I look at that, the imagery. I saw that in a dollar bin, which is why I've got it. That Doom. I was like, Doom. Valeria playing with blocks. I love all of it.
Absolutely. It's
and then like you're saying, the little Teddy Ruxpin doll, like, Valeria, I
love how he communicates with her, and like
because he also promises never to harm her, right, to keep her safe. So in that way, he is fulfilling the promise to take care of her. He just didn't promise to take care of all the rest of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Here he's recounting,
Yeah.
what you did for her. But there you are. There's her first
Oh my
words.
God,
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
so good. Valeria's first word, doom.
Yeah. Not only that, but they soon learn that Doom can speak through her.
Yeah, her
When he's
eyes
threatening her hair.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah, the color of her eyes change to this kind of amber color, and and then they just sort of hear doom through her. It's
Dude, can
so
you imagine little baby Valeria soon enough, Richards? Like
it's
it's
poltergeist, man. It's poltergeist level
It
stuff
really
here.
is. I love that scene. It was fantastic. So well written.
Yes.
So well written. But yeah. Um, and this time he's going for the gusto. This time he's really he's made this deal. Franklin is in hell, and he's made this deal with these demons, this pact, and part of it was Valeria's unfortunate, unwilling sacrifice.
Yep.
But yeah, what did you think about just bringing Mephisto, Hell, these I forget the name of the demons, the Hezarath or whatever.
It doesn't matter. They're red shirt demons. It's fine.
Yes.
No, I like again, anytime there's certain things I want from my Doom stories, I suppose, and it is definitely a little bit of pettiness. Got to have it. That he's got to be coming from that very
Of course.
selfish place. It's gotta involve, I think, technology and magic, and that is 100% happening here. You can even see it on this cover here. Another really exciting cover we got. It's got to involve Valeria and Franklin. I really love those characters. I really think that they are some of the more great plot device like characters, where they can move the plot forward by risking them or involving them in some way. And that definitely happens here. And the best part about it for me is this is the most human, the most compassionate I've ever seen Reed Richards. And he does a great job. I think Waid gives Reed a dimension that I don't think we've seen up to now in this omnibus. It may exist elsewhere in other stories, in the Byrne run or in the Simonson run or in the Stan Lee era. But most of the stuff with Reed, I think, to now is very flat and very much like it's all business. It's all like, I don't have any like deep emotions here. I'm just a thinker. I'm ignoring my responsibilities to my friends and my family just to be the thinker. And I think there's a lot more to this version of Reed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think you can see his humanity shine through a little bit better under Wade's direction. I think like those moments after Franklin gets taken and he's calling out to Doom, "Stop! Are you going to hide behind my children, you coward?" and stuff like that. There was a lot of moments where I felt I empathized with him more, like as a father. More so where so many other times I'm questioning his decisions or his lack of, for a guy that sees so much, he sees so little sometimes when it comes to those closest to him. But I don't know. It was still wild to see Franklin get grabbed by those demons as he was trying to teleport him to Crystal and yelling out for mommy. Speaking of depth to characters, I did like Johnny and his efforts to kind of retrieve Franklin from hell.
I mean, he definitely goes all out, right?
And I like those sequences when he had his leg all torched up and I'm not coming out of this fight, but
and you're almost to the big, I don't know if you've got it here, but the like big switcheroo that Doom pulls when he's holding Valeria. He's holding Valeria, but he's got Franklin in hell, and he's like, "If you surrender, I'll release your child." And they think he's talking about Franklin in hell, but he's talking about Valeria in his hands. And they surrender to him, and he sends Valeria to safety, but he doesn't release Franklin from hell, which is holy cold. Like, oh my God. And he's now got all of the Fantastic Four captured, and he's kept his promise to keep Valeria safe, and he's still got Franklin in the underworld.
Yeah, dude, and it's brutal. Like we see pictures, glimpses of him a couple times through, I think Strange is down there with him,
Yep.
just
Yep.
getting rolled on by the demons. I feel so
Right.
bad for that kid. He's
Yep.
got it so rough, man.
Poor Franklin.
Yeah, poor Franklin. But yeah, this was like one of my favorite parts here with
Mind games on
Doom
Reed.
saying, look, man, I'm locking you in here. You got all the resources at your disposal that I had to learn this magic. So here you
Yep.
go. And he starts reading the books, and he knows he can't do it. And eventually, he gets the help of Doctor Strange, who comes through
Yep.
and kind of has to give him a crash course on spells and incantations. And I really agree with what you said, especially towards the conclusion of the story when Doom and him are going at it, and it's just like kind of a battle of magics, and
Yeah.
Doom's like a real sorcerer would never you use the phrase magic words and this and that. I just love that back and forth. But I love how Reed, through sheer willpower and wanting to bail his kid out of hell, was able to find a solution when
Yeah.
really all his Strange was his only kind of magic contact, and Doom had already thought he had kind of taken care of him already, but luckily they were able to find a way around it. But I love how he was able to exercise that one resource to maximum effect and get the job done.
Totally.
Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about the conclusion of a?
No, I think this was the most even-handed writing of the FF title, I think, in my opinion, that we've had in this omnibus. I'm not saying it's the most in across these titles, because obviously I haven't read a lot of the Byrne run, and I haven't read a lot of the Simonson, and I've only read a portion of the Stan Lee era. But most of the stuff in this omnibus, they're not all written so consistently. They're not all given 3 dimensions to play and several layers of emotion. This is the book that balances, I think, those things best. This storyline, unthinkable.
Absolutely. And I just love the way Doom is the mechanism for them all to find their way together. And there's some really great, strong family moments in here as they battle him together in this last issue in FF 500. So it's just it's one of those all time, I think, Fantastic Four arcs. Whether I would say that whether whether Doom was in it or not. I mean, I don't mean that despite my Doom bias or not, I should say. You know what I mean? I just think it's objectively a beautiful story. And like you said, so true to the essence of all these characters, both individually and together as a unit. So highly recommend this one to you guys if you're looking for a great Fantastic Four / Doom story. And dude, again, that menacing prologue with him and Valeria will never leave my mind.
That's about as cold as I think I've ever seen him.
Right. So moving on, this was one I had never read before. Now, most of these stories I had touched on some kind of way before, but this one, for the modern day stuff, I had never read this one before. This Fantastic Four special apparently highlights a yearly dinner between Reed and Doom that happens.
Little chess game.
Yeah, a little chess game as they have dinner together. I thought this was a really great tale, though. What did you think of it? As Doom kind of returns this amulet that he's had since the college days of.
It mixes together the history of the characters, right? It mixes together they have a little bit of like flashback time kind of all the way through. But the best stuff is just Doom and Reed talking. I wish, honestly, I could have read an entire issue without all the, I don't need Captain America and the team. I don't need any of that stuff.
Yeah,
if it had just been these two guys talking at a table, there's enough tension and animosity and all these things bubbling beneath the surface to give this all the drama that I think it needed.
Yeah, well said. Yeah,
the artwork's a little inconsistent, but that's just by design, because whenever we jump to a memory or something else, it does feel very different from the stuff with Doom and Reed. So the artwork can be hot and cold a little bit in this book, but in this particular issue. But it didn't ruin anything for me.
No, it felt very JR-ish at times.
It does,
Yeah.
yes, for sure.
But yeah, interesting little tale regardless.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one was a cool discovery. That was one I had not read before. But yeah, and I like the emotional ending here with him, you know, and Doom obviously having such an attachment to this, that his mom, you know, wore it all the time, every day.
Yeah.
So that was very cool. Moving on. Oh, before we move on, rather, this was the one we were speaking about where Doom delivers Valeria, and one I thought we should have seen included. So it's Fantastic Four issue 54. But yeah, man, Torch seeks out the help of Doom because Reed is preoccupied. I forget what the name. It's the other. I'm gonna butcher it. I don't know. He's dealing with you know, with some other crisis, right? He's away, and Doom's there to help Sue out. And at first, you know, she wants nothing to do with him. If you come near me or this, if you think I'm letting you near this child, he's like, Susan, you got to trust me. And
yeah,
look at, we get Godfather in, dude.
It's such a sinister moment. Look at his face.
It gets no better. So yeah, I think this is, you know, given all the attention on both the Valeria of his childhood and the Valeria of the Fantastic Four family, throughout the Book of Doom Omni, I think this one warranted inclusion.
Yeah.
So
there's definitely stuff we could have cut for the sake of this, I think.
Yeah. Another one, just while we're on the subject, I don't have slides for it, but Iron Man 249 and 250 is a continuation of the Doom Quest Iron Man story from 149 and 150.
Oh, okay.
And it's got all the same folks on it. It's got David Michelini writing it. It's got Bob Layton, I think, on the co-plotting it on the art.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which two issues is it?
It's 249 and 250. It's like 100 after 100 issues after. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Check that one out.
I'll keep my eye out for it. Yeah. Because I know that's the, you know, I have one of those Iron Man original issues and I need the other one because it's definitely a highlight from the Omni, which we'll get to at the end, I'm sure.
Yes. All right. Home stretch here, folks. Speaking of, man, let's do it. Books of Doom time. Ed Brubaker's reimagining, kind of retelling of Doom's origin. This is kind of basically the annual, the Fantastic Four annual #2, kind of broken down into 6 issues in a sense, and it's done remarkably well, I think. Overall, John, what were your thoughts on this? Reading it for the first time.
I think I had a very different expectation of what this was going to be going in. So I think that probably hurt this book more than anything. I was just expecting Ed Brubaker writing an awesome Doom story, and in my head, all I got was
completely original.
All I got, yeah, and all I got was everything we had already kind of read in this omnibus. So I get just told again, and so there was a part of me that was just kind of disappointed that all I got was stuff that I kind of already knew, and it was not anything that was adding to the story in a big way. But to your point, the positives are that it's basically streamlining and re-explaining in a more kind of straightforward way the story of Doom, the earliest days, and each beat gets its own issue here, whether it's the early days as a gypsy, whether it's the days in school, whether it's coming back to control Latveria. Each piece of the story is given a lot more room to breathe. But for me, I'm like, why put Ed Brubaker on a Dr. Doom book and just retell crap? Like, give him a chance to tell us. Like, give him, man, let him cook, man. Let this guy cook.
For sure. I wonder too if I wonder whose idea. Like, I wonder if like he had some type of idea for it, or I don't know. But
maybe,
yeah, I definitely feel like writers like Ed Brubaker and Brian K. Vaughan in the early 2000s were kind of bouncing around the big two and really hadn't found their niche yet. And these guys, they kind of didn't know what to do with them, I think, in a sense. So I don't know, man. I agree with what you're saying in a sense, but I think it added I think it added layers and complexity to parts of the Doom origin that we didn't like with his mother here on the right. To my knowledge, everything about her beforehand was that she had been in hell because she had died unconfessed, or she was a gypsy. Not that she had become possessed by a demon and gone on a killing spree. I thought that was
I think
pretty
they,
cool.
I think they definitely up it, but obviously she had been a magic user before this. Like we
Yes.
knew that she was involved in the dark arts, and that's where the bloodline, the witching bloodline, goes through Victor through her.
Yeah, I like how he turned up the knob on like the lust for power, though, and the connection
Sure.
between Doom and his mom, in that
Yes.
sense. But dude, I just want to speak to real quick the quality of the artwork, both on the covers by
Bobby says the same. Yeah.
Paulo Rivera. Yeah, absolutely, dude. All of them are bangers.
Yeah.
And then Raimondi on the interiors. Just so many great shots. I think Raimondi really understands the best perspectives for Doom, or like a lot of times those ones when you're looking kind of down at him, and he's kind of lording over all. There's so many of those shots throughout these issues. I also love the use of these like documentary style clips.
It's almost like video recording, archive recordings.
And like the interviews and stuff with people from his past. I thought that was really just a dope little cool,
it gets through to the truth, because sometimes obviously Doom is not going to be telling us all the facts, and this allows for other people to give us maybe something that's a little less filtered.
Absolutely. But yeah, issue 1 is we're seeing him and Valeria as kids. We're seeing him dying in his father's arms. Great shot there with him waking up and finding his dad frozen to death. That was really, really well rendered. Yeah, it was. Moving on, dude. I think the cover for issue 2 though might be my favorite. I love.
It's a great one.
Doom and Reed battling up top and then down below, at the desk together. I think that's such a.
I don't know if you've seen the what is it called? The One World Under Doom final issue.
I have not.
They just revealed the cover for the final issue, and he's basically like ripping Reed's head in half. Like he looks like he's peeling. It looks like he's like made of silly putty, and he's being peeled in half. Doom is just like ripping him. His face is like spread really wide, and there's like a crack right in the middle where he's coming apart. It's really creepy.
That'd be amazing. Marvel's new era: the death of Reed Richards and Charles Xavier.
It's funny because like several of the issues preceding it seemed to hint at the fact that he's kind of taking the team apart, right? Because he robbed Ben of his power recently in one of the issues. He turned Ben back to human. So it's possible that each stage is going to include maybe one of the FF being sort of dismantled.
Yeah, it was. I loved when he turned Ben back normal. It was almost brutal, and the gift he gave to, you know what I mean? It was just like so shocking. I thought that was so well depicted.
Oh, totally.
That series has been a pleasant surprise so far.
Ryan North, yeah,
man, love Ryan North. Excuse me, great writer. Moving on, issue 2, we see Doom at college and some of his homicidal tendencies as he almost chokes out old girl during date night. We also see him working for the U.S. military. I did like the military tie-in that he's kind of secretly developing tech for them.
Oh, for sure.
Were any of these like new story like nuances? Did any of them
none of it felt like brand new. It just felt expanded, and I think that's fine. It fleshed things out and built on things, expanded on stuff concerning the FF or school or his powers or his parents, or in this case the battles in the underworld. So for me, nothing felt like shocking or new, but it did feel like expanded.
Yeah. I liked how they filled in the time here between his accident at the university. He's all bandaged up, in the annual, he immediately heads for the mountains.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I liked how they gave him this downtime with Valeria, and where he kind of decided, right then and there when he had the secret bodyguard kind of do magic that and tell him in his dying breath that, there's men up on the mountain waiting for you, bro.
What it always sucks to be Valeria. Like this character, is the pits. Like even when he cares about her, he doesn't care about her.
Poor woman can't get away. She's trying to hide from him in old age, and he just comes and skins her alive. It's like, Jesus, man.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Poor girl.
I mean, yeah, sucks.
Yep. You did not win the lottery. But moving on, Doom gets his mask, kick-ass sequence.
Yeah, that is
killer
cool.
interior,
which I don't remember ever seeing. So maybe this whole, and I guess this stuff with the monks did feel new. And this guy who he brings to Latveria as his aide or as his assistant or whatever, like that guy I don't remember ever seeing before.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He was definitely new. And I like how he gets super motivated he insists that he be called Dr. Doom all the time after he sees the compilation of clips showing Reed's success, and he just can't handle it. He's like, what? All this time.
Yep.
All this time Richards got famous. But and then, from there on, it's the revolution and the retaking of Latveria, right? He's starting a grassroots movement. With leaders of the resistance and such. We get a little setup that, this is Rudolfo and Zorba's father who was in some
of those.
Right. Yeah. Who we'll definitely see throughout history, Rudolfo and Zorba both. But and then I love the start to the final issue. Also, the cover, man, with the Doom dollar. It gets no better than that. It's just beautiful. The final issue is him and the townspeople.
So that's a great one. Yeah,
absolutely,
love it.
Yeah, takes it back by force. Storms the church, chokes a guy to death, as he's done throughout the story a couple times. First time he killed a man in the story was with his own bare hands. So retakes Latveria that way, and that's our like you said, not much new there, but a lot expanded upon.
But it shows the stuff that maybe we had just kind of talked about and not given evidence on page.
Absolutely, this would be a great type of series to launch right now for them. If this was brand new, I think something like that to reintroduce comic readers who maybe aren't familiar with Doom. I don't know if it needs to be 6 issues, but I don't know, some modernized, beautifully illustrated version of that. I think would be a good idea.
But then this.
Yes, so, dude.
I mean, it has to happen because we know that this is a Doombot. This is the Doombot, right? The one that ruled in the books. The problem for me is it undermines a lot of the story when you don't make it Dr. Doom. You make it one of his bots. And this is a constant trope all through this omnibus. Is like, that was really cool, but it wasn't Doom. like that is frustrating to me as a reader, because it's like so many moments that you want to attribute to this great character, you have to attribute to a robot.
Yes, absolutely. It is frustrating, and it's like it's fun when you see writers kind of having tongue-in-cheek back and forth with one another over stuff, but it does get annoying when some of your favorite Doom moments or timelines are constantly undermined by
so it's a gift. Guy comes in and says, "No, that wasn't Doom."
Yeah, his genius in robotics is a gift and a curse for sure, folks. Absolutely. Right. But man, that'll do it for the Doom Omni. We get some great Doom pinups here in the back, courtesy of Kirby.
I love the font. The font of Dr. Doom on that, like the far one. It looks like it's like blown up letters like that. Big puffy letters. It's like birthday letters. Dr. Doom.
It does.
It's so cute.
It's like a Comic Sans type of. It's a font that does not belong
comic.
there.
It's like Archie and the Gang.
It does not fit his mood at all, dude. It has no.
I need like some bolts and things on it.
No menace about that at all. Exactly.
Way too happy. Like this fits better.
Oh my god.
Love this one.
man, and
The big Kirby hand almost coming
yes,
at you.
it's incredible. It's one of my favorite Doom images ever. They used it for the cover of Doom #4, which is included in here. They got the excerpts with the quotes from Chairman Doom. Doom #4 is,
so
of course,
good.
Any Doom fan of Doom knows about Doom #4. It's just Steranko put that issue together. It's fantastic, man. It's so cool. They had the breakdowns from the handbook. I love the
from
breakdown
Marvel
of
Universe,
his armor.
good.
I'm always here for that. I love all those little info pages. I used to love those as a kid, like, breaking down somebody's powers and their strengths and stuff like that. I've always got time for that. This I would love to see more of in the modern day. Fake advertisements for Latveria and the Latverian Express. I need me a Latverian Express, John.
Yes, come to Latveria, a place of beauty and order.
They did these in promo for Triumph and Torment, man. I would love to see more of this stuff.
And the Mike Mignola artwork is just
God.
Good.
Yeah, they redid this. I think this was a variant for One World Under Doom #1. But
nice.
Yeah, gorgeous.
What's up, man. Eric?
What up, station brother? Thank you for coming through. Hope you're well, bro. That's what I'm not out carrying out plans for world conquest. I'm carrying the Latvian Express, baby. Never leave home without it. I love it.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, dude, I found a bevy of Doom covers I got to get, man. I did not. These Spider-Man and X-Men classics.
Oh, the 2 classic X-Men covers are so good.
Oh, man.
They're both. There's 3 of them, I think, because it's a 3-issue story. There's 3 of the X-Men ones.
Absolutely. And then these painted ones featuring the Iron Man and Dr. Doom trade paperback collecting the Camelot story, and then the painted version of course, Kirby's classic image. Just beautiful. So nice little bit of artwork in the back of the book. But yeah, man, let's just looking at it as a whole, let's go through it real quick. I'm just curious as to what really stood out to you. What were your favorite tales? We had, obviously episode 1 was the beginning.
Yes.
How about early Doom?
The earliest Doom stuff I liked was the Black Panther Khazar stuff. There was like 3 issues in the Astonishing Tales where you get to see Wakanda versus Latveria, and it's kind of an entertaining crossover. I like the way that it's handled. I like the way T'Challa battles Victor. So those were probably in the first round that we did, that was the stuff that was most surprising to me and was most entertaining to me. What about yourself?
I think it just reinstated my love for FF Annual #2. I don't like his first appearance. It's not one of my favorites.
No.
Battle of the Baxter Building is okay, but it's just kind of him showing up and throwing an asbestos net over the building. Is like, what are we doing here, man? He didn't really get his grit until I think later on down the lines. But for me, I think just the Annual #2, just because all the bones of Doom that have been built out.
It's a superior story for sure, and it gives you depth to the character for sure.
Absolutely. But hold on, let me get my list out just so we can.
I got it. If you want me to read it off, the first round included FF 5 and 6, Amazing Spider-Man 5, the Annual #2, FF 39 and 40, and then Marvel Superheroes 20, which was just called basically Dr. Doom.
Right.
And then those Astonishing Tales, the 6 issues, 1 through 3 and 6 through 8.
Yeah. I think 8 also. Astonishing Tales 8, when he first tried to free his mom's soul from hell. That was a story I've never read before. And that was a lot of fun to discover. Yeah.
No, that's a great one.
Yeah. How about part 2? The supervillain team ups, the Giant Size 1 and 2, then 13 and 14, Champion 16, ASM Annual, the Frank Miller tale, and then Uncanny X-Men and Iron Man.
What's up, Fable?
Station brother.
What's up, Fable?
Good to see you, buddy. Station bro.
I mean, obviously, I'm partial to the X-Men books. Like, I really wish that we hadn't been robbed of that being genuinely Doom, and instead it was a robot. Like, I like Doom crushing on Storm. It makes total sense that they would vibe. Like, we were robbed. of the truth of that sequence. And I think it's a really, other than Arcade poking his annoying head in from time to time, we got a really good Doom and Storm kind of plot line. The artwork obviously is phenomenal and really, really stunning stuff. So I'm partial to that. The big surprise for me was I liked the ASM Frank Miller
Oh,
book
that was
a
so much
ton.
fun. Yeah.
And of course, I had never read both of the Iron Man books, and those were fantastic. And I really, really enjoyed that. I've got to hunt down the one that's the close up of Iron Man's mask. I have the other one where they're slugging it out on the
Yeah.
cover. So I got to get 149, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
It's just amazing. So those were the ones that were for me, the highlights.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I think the fact that I think the truth to the power of that Storm's story kind of lies in how much we've seen it used recently here, and Sword and the Storm
current,
book, the
I was gonna say the
incredible
current
Storm
Storm.
series that we
Yeah.
have right now.
Yeah.
I think, regardless of how John Byrne felt, I agree with you, man. I thought Claremont was dead on with it. I thought he really had a great voice for that, and I think I would have liked to have seen Claremont do more with that character.
For sure. I think Ed Brubaker and Ayodele Murewa is the guy who's writing Storm right now. I think both of them got that. The fact that these are characters on a similar level as far as leaders and powerful and could vibe in a lot of ways. Certainly, they are compassionate in the sense that they care about the people that they are in charge of, right?
Absolutely.
And that is all things that they see eye to eye on. Obviously, how they care for those people, they don't necessarily see eye to eye, but that's what makes antagonist protagonist relationships interesting. And I think there's a lot of meat on the bone to this relationship, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's amazing that they were able to put their differences behind them when he put her in that organic metal statue and had her. She's already claustrophobic and had her freaking out, throwing
But
storms.
what a
over
great,
half the
like,
continent.
that Storm Unleashed issue is so
Oh, man.
fantastic, with
It's
Nightcrawler
awesome.
floating out in space, having to figure out the way in, and her power slowly destroying Earth, almost like causing tsunamis and all kinds of things as she's just slowly, bursting forth from that form. Yeah, great stuff.
Absolutely, man. And of course, Iron Man is untouchable. I think one of the greatest Doom tales of all time, for sure.
Yes.
Moving on, part 3, we did all that Fantastic Four, 236, 246, 47, and then 258 through 60. I love that run. I think it's the back end of starting with Uncanny and Iron Man, the back end of some of the best Doom writing and Doom stories we've ever gotten.
The Bronze Age really did well by Doom, for sure.
Absolutely. But yeah, what was that? What was that like for you, experiencing Byrne's Fantastic Four?
And I had only read, of those, I think it was, 6 issues. I probably had only read 2. I've read very little of the Byrne era. It's only whatever issues I was able to ever find and buy at a rate that I thought was reasonable. So I have the one when he's like slashing the cover of the book. I love the stuff when it's him showing the Fantastic Four what Latveria was like without him, convincing them to help him, and then him retaking Latveria and the transformation of the country under his rule. All of that stuff is so fantastic. And I really think that's where those issues shine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the introduction of Kristoff and and all that good. And then like another power play with the Power Cosmic. Of course, revisited Secret Wars. Emperor Doom, I think, was a highlight for you, for sure. You love that.
I was surprised. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. And, I may have just tickled the West Coast Avenger fan in me somewhere. Obviously, Triumph and Torment has depth that Emperor Doom does not. But the concept of using the Purple Man as a weapon and controlling the planet, and there are several moments in Volume 3 that might be all-time favorite moments for me, when you've got like Doom sitting in Latveria, like bored and playing with toys, and he's like Magneto comes storming in and he's like, screw you, Magneto, I've already taken over the whole world, I already enacted my plan, I already mind warped everybody, this world sucks, I'm the best at everything and nobody knows it, and I hate all of these people. Like it's such an anticlimactic way to start. Like he's already won. He's already won, and he's just bored with winning. It's kind of hilariously Doom.
It is. I love that too. Like, you know, he makes Magneto do whatever he wants, use his own powers against him. He's like, "All right, let's call a truce and let's toast again," and slips him another roofie incident.
Another Mickey. Yeah, he's taking people out. So yeah, Emperor Doom, I think, is just underappreciated because it stands in the shadows of Triumph and Torment, which is way more substantive and has incredible Mignola art, and Doctor Strange and Mephisto are used so well, versus obviously West Coast Avengers probably aren't given as much love. But I guess it was more just the surprise of reading something and finding so much just fun in it.
Yes, absolutely, I agree. That one is a ball. But yeah, man, that'll do it. That was 1 through 3, and of course we covered 4 tonight. Yeah, man. Anything else you wanted to say now that we're here at the finish line?
I mean, I think you and I both came out of this feeling like we want to go beyond the early 2000s now, and
yes.
I joked that, or I commented that I've been trying to finally start reading Hickman's Fantastic Four and get myself through to his Secret Wars and read all of that stuff again. Because I'd never read his FF, but I have read the Secret Wars. So it's possible, I get myself in gear here and get some of that stuff read, and maybe we come back for a recap of some of that. Because, I think I'm just starting to find an era of FF that feels like I can connect to it and get into it.
Yeah, that's right, guys. He was bad mouthing the whole squad in the back chat. He was
I did.
He was tearing them asunder. You thought Doom was doing dark work. That was nothing the way John was dissecting in the back. But
I mean, I've always been harsh on Stan Lee, the writer. I always feel like he's an idea man. And
I agree with you completely.
He sells, but he should not be putting dialogue in characters' mouths. He really shouldn't.
I think, just to speak to what you were saying about Thing and how he's by far the best character, I think that's all Jack. That's because Jack put so much of himself into that character more so than the other ones, and those kind of got left to Stan. And I don't know.
And it's the same problem I'm having reading Stan's Avengers is the Wasp only shows up every once in a while to jump in and say, how's my hair look? And Thor's so handsome. And then the rest of the time she's completely useless. And it's like, it's exhausting as a reader to kind of feel like there's these wonderful characters, but because they're women, Stan's going to give them nothing to do but laundry. And that's how Sue feels. I think it's a shock to me. It's kind of the same way I think Jean Grey feels in a lot of the early X-Men issues is just everybody's telling you, even Xavier is telling you how hot she is and they want to get with her. And, it's like, guys, like she's interesting. You could give her a couple of moments to shine.
Yeah. I think that was part of Byrne's, efforts in transforming her into Malice and really kind of, coming into reckoning with all the traumatic things that had happened to her.
Right.
I think that was metaphorical too, in a sense that how just misuse / abuse she's been in some of these stories, man. So
I love Eric. To be fair, Thor is quite handsome. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
No, you're not.
Cheel is in the chat.
Cheel Station, brother. Good to see you, man. Hope everybody's doing well.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm definitely looking for. I definitely want to tackle the rest of Hickman's FF. I'm 1/4 of the way through that, and I'd love to tackle some more of the Waid run. I don't know how many issues he ended up doing on FF, but if they're half as good as Unthinkable, I kind of feel like I want more.
If I remember correctly, he got taken. I don't know. I forget what the reason was, but they got taken off the book, and the fans got so upset they demanded. I wasn't a weekly reader at the time, but I think the fans demanded them back on the book.
Nice.
Waid Marengo. Yeah, but
I think he's always been one of the best comic writers in this era that we're in right now, the 2000s. I think, you can see it on his World's Finest right? And now his
Absolutely.
JLA Unlimited. I love his
This
stuff
Batman
on
and Robin year
Daredevil.
one right now is freaking ridiculous, man. With
Yeah, yeah.
Samney, it's like,
His Chris Samney Daredevil stuff, I think it gets overlooked a ton. And yeah, Wade is just, he's top tier, man. He's top tier.
absolutely. And it's crazy too, because I was looking at Grant Morrison's credits on Doom Patrol today, and Mark Waid was his editor at DC when he was writing that book. So and the guy has such an encyclopedia knowledge. He's one of those guys, man, that the industry is gonna be. It's not going to glitter as bright once he's gone. We need those folks
Oh,
around. So
100%. And he's also really genuinely nice. The few times I've chatted with him at a con, he's just been super friendly,
yes, seems super dope.
and happy to be there and to sign stuff and to talk to fans.
Yeah, man. Well, that'll do it. John, tell these people where they can find you and what you got coming up.
I'm John's Comics with Kids, pretty much everywhere you go on social media. Hopefully you can find me by searching that little bit. I dropped a video yesterday on my favorite Green Lantern comics in my collection, so you can find that right now on my channel. Let's see, tomorrow is Wednesday. I am chatting. Gosh, who am I on with tomorrow? I know I'm on JP Budget Collecting. He's been reading 100 Bullets from Vertigo Comics by Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Rizzo. It's one of those books that got me back into collecting. So I've been rereading it with JP and his friends. And so we're on the 9th and 10th volumes of that 13-volume series, 100 Bullets.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know that was a big one for Vertigo. That one's near and dear to a lot of folks. I have never read it before, but
it's got a great hook. It's also simple, like 100 issues, kind of like New Mutants, 100 and done. You don't have to worry about it going on forever and, outstaying its welcome. It's got storylines that I love, but it definitely, I would say it flags a little bit at the end, but still a very entertaining series.
Yeah, definitely on my to read list. But you guys can find me at Dr. Doom's Fan Club. Thank you if you came through tonight. Thank you if you're watching this on the rewind. Hope you enjoyed the Omni review with myself. You can find the other 2 episodes, parts 1 and 3, over on John's channel. But yeah, appreciate you guys as always. I'll have new content coming out every week, more or less. Of course, Ink and Insights tomorrow night over on 9 Panel Grid at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, talking new comics, our favorites from the week, favorite splash art, favorite covers, all that good stuff. So make sure and check us out. But thank you guys for coming through. Hope everybody has a great night. We'll see y'all soon. Station.